Oh, I knew looking at the camera. Is that where I'm? Okay, I just want to make sure I'm here, bro.
You good now?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, let's get it, bro.
All right. You ready? You ready for this?
Hello, audience.
All right, welcome back to another Couch Potato General Manager YouTube video. This time around, we're actually getting into the mock drafts. Obviously, it's been mock draft season for quite some time, delivering 7-round mocks for each individual team, and we're starting with the team with the first overall pick, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals. And gentlemen, before we get into the actual selections, I wanted to get your thoughts on the potential of a trade down at this spot. There's been very little conversation to this point regarding the Bengals trading out of the first hole. As far as we know, well, what are your thoughts on a trade down scenario? What ultimately would you need to net in this year's draft as well as 2021 in order to pull the trigger?
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't trade down if I was the Cincinnati Bengals. I think Joe Burrow is far and away the best quarterback in this class, the best quarterback in some time now in all draft classes. So I wouldn't do it, but if I was to do it, it would be multiple first-round picks this year and next season.
I'm gonna go ahead and jump on the bandwagon with Headley there, and I need multiple first-round picks. Joe Burrow he's different, man, and so we were talking off air, right? And I don't know if there's anything that you give me that can make that happen for me. Obviously, we know the Miami Dolphins have plenty of picks, so that could be an option, and that seems to be the thing that people keep talking about on Twitter. That seems to be the go-to team because they have multiple first-round picks this year and next. So that would be the team you would be targeting, but at the same time, I can't do it. I can't do it based on how the Bengals are built at the current moment.
You know, the reason why I bring that up as a talent evaluator, as a GM, you typically want to gather as many talented players, young players as possible. Obviously, when you have a question mark at quarterback, that changes the conversation. But, you know, the detractors with respect to Joe Burrow in terms of basically the 1 year of production, does that not scare you away at all?
Not me. The tape shows it in that 1 year, the field vision, pre-snap awareness, first read, second read, third read, go through his progressions, his mobility. It's just he plays the game at a high level. So even if it's just for 1 year, I'm totally okay with that.
There's no more conversation that we really need to have at this point. So the first overall pick will be Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to add to Drew's point, the more weapons, he's a more efficient quarterback. So being in that Zach Taylor offense under center, play action, a lot of levels concept, I'm not sure that's the type of offense that Burrow will excel in. I'd rather him spread it out 4 or 5 receivers at a time. So that'll be an interesting discussion once he joins the Bengals.
I think it behooves coaches to be flexible and to build their systems around the trigger man. You know, all the protections, all the rules are set up so that offenses can be successful. So if you're going to invest that first overall pick in a quarterback, you have a need at quarterback. In order to ensure that he's successful, you know, and to take advantage of that rookie contract, I think it behooves coaches to create an environment that is suitable to the quarterback's taste, you know, so that the quarterback can thrive, play to that individual's strengths. We've seen that in Kansas City. We've seen that in Baltimore. There's been more of a shift from the West Coast offenses and adding more of the college game, more of the spread concepts. I think if the Bengals and Zach Taylor, the head coach Zach Taylor, want to put their best foot forward with Joe Burrow, I think they need to adapt a lot of the things that he did in college. Not that he can't necessarily do the stretch and play with his back to the defense, but I think in this day and age when you're expected to win immediately, I don't even know why you would force that issue. You can develop that as that goal, but put him in a position where he's comfortable sooner rather than later.
But if I'm the offensive coordinator, I'm the head coach with the system. You know, it's that you know, this is my offense, this is what I've created, and I'm not willing to budge. Or maybe I don't know that I can teach it any other way than the offense that I've developed, which is also a thing.
See something crazy off top with this draft simulator. Not really who got selected in the first round. It's just Javon, Kinlaw, their 12th ranked player is still on the board in the top of the second round. And, you know, we all know that Kinlaw is going to go in the first round unless there's some kind of medical issue that arises. But he's a first round talent, man.
All right. We're at the top of the second round, so obviously there's a curveball that's been thrown. I wouldn't anticipate Kinlaw being there, but Drew, I believe that the Bengals have made a fairly big acquisition to the interior of the defensive line with DJ Reader, making him a 4-year deal. And then on top of that, you already have Geno Atkins. Geno Atkins obviously is getting a little bit up there, but certainly he's still one of the better interior defensive linemen in the NFL, for my money. So what do you do here at the top of the second round? There's needs at the second level of the defense. There's question marks along the offensive line. The Bengals have put a lot of resources into trying to recreate, remodel that secondary. So don't necessarily have to go there. But given Kinlaw's value, is this one of those situations where it's his best player available?
Can you really leave Kinlaw on the board at this point? I don't think you can. I think the value is too high. I know that linebacker is an issue for the Bengals at this point, but I don't know that I can leave a Kinlaw on the board. I think I got to take him here. I think I got to do it. I think, like you just said, Geno Atkins, not that he's getting long in the tooth. He's been there for a minute. And, at some point you got to find your replacement. Why not do it now?
Yeah, I agree with Drew. The Bengals finished 32nd last place in rush defense last season. Kinlaw is an excellent run defender and pass rusher in the interior. I know they play a lot of multiple defenses, so they could be in a 4 even man front or odd man front. So, why not put Kinlaw next to Atkins and Reader on early downs, and then when they get into their pass rushing stance, you probably pull Reader off the field and rush Atkins and Kinlaw from the inside. So I think it's definitely a way for him to be on the team and fit on the team, even though that they have other needs.
The comparisons have been Chris Jones. The comparisons have been Aaron Donald. The comparisons have been, is it Marcus Stroud? I mean, there's just different comparisons with those 3 different players, and they're extraordinary players at the positions they played. So, I mean, if you can package that, put that down on that D-line, I mean, the sky's the limit for that D-line, for the help that they can do at the second, or help out the second level with that type of talent on the D-line.
Steal of the draft, Cincinnati.
I think, again, to your point, the likelihood that Kinlaw's there is virtually nil. There was a guy by the name of Patrick Queen out of LSU that was sitting on the board. Gross Matos, the edge player. I think the Bengals have a need there. A couple of guys that I do think it's reasonable to expect them to be there at the top of the second round. I know, Headley, in your mock draft that you did recently, you had both Queen and Murray out of Oklahoma, the linebackers, 2 linebackers going relatively early. I think top 20 in the first round. So there's a chance. I know they had some injuries throughout the pre-draft process. If a Patrick Queen is available, we're expecting Kinlaw not to be available at the top of the second round. That's the guy that I think the Bengals would have to consider very heavily. That puts us at the top of the third round.
I was looking at 2 guys. I was looking at Cushenberry to help that interior offensive line for the Bengals. They run that zone scheme. Cushenberry could get out there. But Jeremy Chin, man, like I said, they were last in rush defense. I think Chin is a safety that could play up in the box and help that run defense.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that pick. But I don't know, man, because we got to protect the franchise. We got to make sure we protect the guy, the face of the franchise guy who's going to save this team, bring it from, I'm not going to say they're in obscurity, but, we know what the Bengals are about. I know offensive line ain't sexy, man, but I like what I saw from Cushenberry, the Cushenberry the third, correct? I want to make sure I get that right.
There's the tackles.
Yeah, what's the interior look like? Guards and centers.
Guards.
Oh, I like Robert Hunt. I like Hunt over Cushenberry, to be honest. And go to centers.
All right, man. Listen, as long as we protecting the quarterback, and I understand the Chin pick, I just think safety so far away from the ball. Although
I'd rather go interior offensive line too, Drew, because I think they have a bigger need at that position.
And then think about the offense in general. I mean, they got tons of weapons. They got everything that's needed to succeed on the offensive side of the ball. You know what I mean?
They just need to replace Bobby Hart.
I mean,
that's what I mean? Yeah. We're opting to ensure that the franchise is protected, is kept clean. Are we looking at Lloyd Cushenberry or are we looking at Robert Hunt?
I think Cushenberry is the better pass protector of the two. And if we're trying to protect the franchise, I'd probably go Cushenberry.
Speaking of Cushenberry, at the Senior Bowl, he was one of maybe 2 offensive linemen that had any success against Javon Kinlaw before he got hurt. Kinlaw was just manhandling folks out there. So, like we said before, we don't expect him to get to the second round, but he was on the board at 33. We absolutely had to take him. The value was just too great. And then we're coming back in the third round, at the top of the third round, to help shore up the offensive line and protect Joe Burrow with Lloyd Cushenberry. There's Chin right after that, Headley. The very next pick.
Was that Redskins scooped him?
Yeah, I obviously threw out the Chin out there to tempt fate a little bit, but I think Cushenberry was the right pick. Definitely the right pick. Inside out.
That's how you do it, man.
Mm-hmm. The trenches.
And it's not like well, I guess they got rid of a couple of people in terms of their this past free agency, but I mean that defense has names all over it. Had names all over it. They couldn't stop the run. Poo-poo.
Yeah, I think bringing in DJ Reader in the offseason, I think that's big for their run defense.
Absolutely.
I want to see some guys on the second level now. So we probably have to address that pretty soon.
All right, so again, we went with Cushenberry at the top of the third round. Still quite a bit of talent out there. Look at your boy Brandon Ayuk, went in the third round to the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts to the Bears, compete with Nick Foles and Trubisky.
I actually like that. Darnay Holmes to the Browns.
J.K. Dobbins, Chief.
All right, so Heather, you were alluding to the second level of the defense. So let's take a look at what we have in terms of inside and outside linebackers. Logan Wilson, Jacob Phillips, Troy Dyer, your top inside linebackers according to Pro Football Network. And outside linebackers, we have Jordan Brooks, Azure Kamara, Davion Taylor out of Colorado. You never want to be in a position where you're drafting for need, but it happens. It obviously happens. At this point in the draft, I think in the fourth round, day 3, you're looking for upside. Yeah, you might have some needs, but I'm trying to get as many good football players as possible, regardless of where they play. So through day 1 and day 2 of the draft, the Bengals have netted Joe Burrow, Javon Kinlaw, I'm not sure how that happened, and Lloyd Cushenberry. 3 starters off top. Top of round 4, Headley, Drew, which direction are the Bengals heading?
Looking at the big board right now, I know AJ Green is on that franchise tag. They got Tyler Boyd. He's definitely a starter. They got John Ross, has been kind of inconsistent. More weapons around Joe Burrow. That's a possibility. Inside linebacker, I'm looking at Logan Wilson out of Wyoming. The guy's a tackling machine, also can cover. Yeah, those are the guys I'm looking at, wide receivers and inside linebacker.
I think you got to go linebacker here. I don't think that, like you said, AJ Green is on a franchise tag. Who knows if the Bengals are going to bring him back? If they go out and they have a hell of a season, you would think they would have to bring him back and what he's looking for and go that route. So in my mind, I'm going with that the Bengals are going to have a turnaround season. And AJ Green is going to show out. Joe Burrow is going to show who he is. He's the franchise, and we're going to go ahead and we're gonna take the linebacker out of Wyoming. The tackling machine is as Headley has dubbed him, and let's get this thing going because we got DJ Reader in the middle, and we got Kinlaw there as well, along with you've essentially set your front lineup. So let's get the second level set, ready to go.
So in round five, I see a name at the very top of the board that I think is a day 2 talent.
Sure.
Yeah.
But has had some injuries. And again, as I mentioned, at this juncture in the draft, and the Bengals obviously have made a concerted effort to improve their secondary. At this juncture in the draft, I'm looking for upside. I'm looking for guys that I expect to outperform where they're drafted. And Bryce Hall is the guy. I know there's some other needs, as we've alluded to, but certainly I'd have a hard time passing up a guy that I know he's healthy, gives you a lot of size, can match up with some of those bigger receivers on the outside. So we're now talking about Drake Kirkpatrick, Trey Waynes, Mackenzie Alexander, William Jackson, and then maybe add a Bryce Hall to that mix as well. You know what I mean? Because a couple of those guys haven't necessarily played to the level that we anticipated when they were actually being drafted and when they were entering the league. So, what do you guys think about Bryce Hall right here?
Yeah, you call it. The talent is definitely a day two. I actually think he has day one talent, first round talent. That 2018 season before the injury, man, he was outstanding. So to get him here in round 5, I think that would be a steal.
I think me and you have discussed this before in terms of what type of corner we think that Bryce Hall can be. I think he's actually a better zone corner than a man corner, but that's neither here nor there. Again, this is a talent that's sitting on the board, injured. Take a flyer on a guy here because maybe one of your corners get injured, maybe 2 of your corners get injured. Not that we think that'll happen, but I mean, talent is too good, too rich for your blood. You got to take it here. You got to take it and go.
Never have too many corners.
Nah. Didn't Zimmer have like 18 corners on the team with the Vikings? So why not?
That's how Mike operates.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's questions. There's questions about guys playing to the level that we expected. They haven't. They've underachieved. So they gotta throw as many of those corners against the wall and see what sticks.
They got your number one corner out there, man. Mackenzie Alexander. That was number one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Sorry.
Operative word was.
Yeah.
All right, we're at the top of round 6, and what are we doing here, fellas?
This is when you go to the combine numbers and you start looking for players that ran really fast, that benched a lot, that jumped out the gym.
I'm looking at maybe getting Joe Burrow, another wide receiver, or a tight end.
Did we address the edge at all?
Yeah, do need help on the edge. Yeah, I think a pass rusher would be good, bro.
Definitely a pass rusher.
Yeah, my community at the NFL Combine really showed out in these drills. He offers a lot of versatility. He can rush off the edge, help Cincinnati there. He can stand up at the second level. He's definitely a guy that can help out this Bengals defense.
There goes your Quez Watkins.
Come on, bro. Where did my guy Curtis Weaver go to?
I think he went second round.
Did he?
Yeah. So we got him a quarterback. We got him an interior offensive lineman. We got him a linebacker. Got him an edge. Got him a corner.
Let's go. Who's looking here? Bobby Hart. Let's go either tackle, bro, or let's go receiver or another edge. One of the three.
Javon Johnson, wide receiver.
That's buddy that ran like a 7 flat, bro. Didn't he?
Yeah. He improved his pro day numbers. That's one.
Did he?
Few teams to do a pro day.
Oh, there go your boy Jeff Thomas, bro. I see him.
Ooh, Jeff Thomas. Let's do it.
Go with the upside. Gotta go with the upside.
Go with
Check
upside.
the tackles, bro. Just check the tackles real quick. Because Bobby Hart is still out there, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, no, I don't think we can do it. Hold up. All right, man. Go ahead, pull the trigger. Jeff Thomas. Where he from?
To you, buddy.
He's an electric weapon, man. Like I mentioned earlier, AJ Green's on the franchise tag. You got John Ross and Tyler Boyd out there. Added Jeff Thomas, another electric guy. You get the football in his hands. Joe Burrow get the football in his hands, and he could go the distance. So definitely a high upside pick with Jeff Thomas from Miami.
Let me ask you though: is he playing inside? Is he playing outside? Can he play either?
I think he's an outside receiver, despite the size. Okay. I still think he's an outside receiver.
Drew, I want to just give me a rundown. Give me a rundown on what you think of the selections.
Got to get real close, bro, because you feel me? It's small on my screen, so I'm just letting you know.
You got your whole face.
You gotta have. I'm beautiful. I'm sexy.
You don't got the bifocals, bro.
No, you feel me?
Them stone face statues, bro.
I'm sexy, bro. I'm sexy. We got Joe Burrow to go in the first round. You match him up with a AJ Green, a John Ross, a Tyler Boyd, a Jeff Thomas, who we got late in the 7th round, a Joe Mixon in the backfield. The offensive line is going to be shored up this year with this draft we got here, including free agency. The sky's the limit for this football team. If this is the draft, you got Javon Kinlaw in the 2nd round. Yeah, people are screaming right now, bro. How did he make it to the 2nd round? Yeah, I don't know, man.
No.
We don't know, but he was there.
Simulator.
he was what, the 12th best player on the board, and he was there the top of the 2nd round. We wanted to go linebacker, we couldn't go there. Couldn't leave that type of talent on the board. And then we went ahead and we shored up the middle of the offensive line, as just likes to call it, the pivot, with Lloyd Cushenberry. I think it's the 3rd, could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's it. We had a hell of a season, but had a hell of a Senior Bowl week. Was one of the few guys that Juice stated earlier, one of the guys who was able to take on Javon Kinlaw. And then in the 4th round went out and we got a Logan Wilson, Wyoming tackling machine linebacker. It's a much needed thing, and the linebacker, the 2nd level for the defense, based off of this draft and what they did in free agency, should be a lot smoother, a lot cleaner. Got guys who can make plays, and Wilson is one of those guys. Keep him clean, he can do some damage. And then in the 5th round, we can't believe it, another pick that shouldn't be there, but this happens in pretty much every draft. There's a guy that's always in a place they shouldn't be in, a Bryce Hall, who can play man, who can play zone. And hey man, this is a steal. And I know people are, we got plenty of corners. You can never have enough corners. You can never have enough defensive linemen, period. And then we went out in the 6th round and we got Divinity. He sounds special. He's from LSU, the championship team.
Fine.
Excuse me?
He sounds divine.
Oh, he sounds divine. Oh, not special? Okay, we'll go with it. All right, Michael Divinity. He sounds divine. From the LSU championship team, outside linebacker, can come off the edge, versatile player, play out in space, or come down and go and get whoever has the ball, whether it be quarterback, running back, whomever that is. And we spoke about Jeff Thomas. He's from the U, CPGM Juice's school. A guy who, obviously can play outside, according to Headley. And we don't know what's going on with AJ Green. We know he's a franchise. It's a franchise tag. So we'll see what goes on there. If they have a successful season, I imagine they bring him back. But again, this is the Bengals, so you never know. But you do have a Jeff Thomas who's electric with the ball in his hands.
Tyler, what's the best pick? Not named Burrow or Kinlaw.
Oh, you already know.
Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall in the 5th round. They have a lot of corners on their roster. They added Trey Waynes and Mackenzie Alexander, so it's not a huge need. But the 2018 tape of Bryce Hall, he could play man. He's very patient with his feet. I think his ceiling would be in a zone scheme where he attacks the football, uses his physicality and length on the outside. So, definitely a talented player that I think was a day 1 talent before the injury. And I think he goes day 2 in the NFL draft. So getting him in the 5th round, I think that's a steal.
My only criticism of this draft, my only real criticism.
Don't do it, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna do it. I don't think we did enough here to improve the offensive line. I like Lloyd Cushenberry. I think he certainly helps, but Cordy Glenn obviously wasn't playing at the same level as we had grown accustomed. He's no longer there. Bobby Hart's still out there at right tackle, man. He's still out there at right tackle. I don't like it. And Cushenberry can't fill that role. That's my only criticism of this draft. Otherwise, I think top to bottom, it's a really good group. I think in all likelihood, with Josh Jones on the board at the top of the 2nd round, you draft him and you feel a lot better about your offensive line. But of course, then you don't have a Javon Kinlaw. The likelihood of Kinlaw, as I mentioned before, falling to the 2nd round is virtually non-existent. So interesting draft, certainly. A lot of good talent, but I think the Bengals have to come away with the starting offensive lineman. I know they went to the Jonah Williams last year, and Cushenberry might be that guy in this particular class, but specifically finding a legitimate replacement for Bobby Hart, I think goes a long way.
You say that at the top of the 2nd round, but you forget. You forget that we what was the talk? We would have went Patrick Queen. We would have went. No. I think there was a debate to be had. I think there was a debate to be had. You understand what I'm saying?
We just come past the law. We can't do it.
No. There's no way you can do that. No, I wouldn't let myself do that. Joe Burrow it's a right tackle. He's right-handed, so he sees it coming, right?
Yeah, his vision is one of his biggest assets is his vision. So he'll see that guy coming around Bobby Hart every time.
His mobility, his ability to extend plays, and then the poise goes a long way. So, hopefully you mitigate him. Line up Drew Sample on that side, get a chip. Top to bottom, this is an impressive group. I'm sure the Bengals organization would be just fine with Bobby Hart another year. They obviously gave him a 3-year extension or a 3-year deal last year. He's entering year 2 of that deal. If they can get Javon Kinlaw in the second round, I don't think they'll have any misgivings about that.
Couch Potato General Manager, the YouTube channel, you know it because you're on it. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment.